Well, it is now Wednesday, January 17th, 6 p.m., the appointed date and time. This is the meeting of the East Long Meadow Public Library Board of Library Trustees, and I will call the meeting to order. The first order of business is to take attendance, or to call for attendance, and I am Charlie Gray.
David Boucher.
Melanie Mannheim.
Layla Johnston.
Diane Tiago.
The record show we have a quorum. Clerk is here, and the meeting has been posted and notice has been given. Our Vice Chair, David Boucher, is here, and he is the winner of the Ernest Hemingway Look-alike contest. So,
Okay.
I'm real happy for you, David. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's looking a little lighter than I thought.
Goodness. Well, the Gillette folks are probably very unhappy with you. First order of business is the minutes for the meeting of November 15th, and they were distributed. Layla distributed them earlier. Has everyone had an opportunity to review them?
Yes.
I have also. I did not have any comments or corrections. Does anyone have any comments or corrections? Do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for November 15th, 2017, as submitted by our secretary, Diane Tiago?
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the 15th of November.
And I will second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Second order of business. Guest opportunity to address the board. There are no guests. If any wander in by mistake or otherwise, they'll be recognized. The director's report. Layla, you're on.
Building maintenance. It was brought to my attention that several vehicles were driving directly up onto the sidewalk all the way up to the book drop. And so after consulting with DPW, we put out for now the sawhorses that you probably noticed. And in the spring, we'll look into a more permanent solution, perhaps those yellow cylinders that you see at gas stations or whatnot. You can see significant cracking in the sidewalk over there. So
Yeah, there is cracking, and that's going to become a safety issue, obviously. But it's also a handicapped accessibility issue,
Right.
because that is a ramp, and that's why it's probably attractive to people to drive up it. So I think the sawhorses are a wonderful temporary solution, and keep us posted. Good idea. I
not
noticed
aesthetically the most pleasing, but we have
well,
to.
it's safer though, and
Safety.
we do have to have a place where the wheelchairs can get up,
Right.
and we don't want to further damage the access, obviously. Thank you. Keep us posted.
I'm excited to introduce a new device which I brought here, and I will demonstrate for everybody after the rest of my report is over. But it's these are new literacy devices called Starlings. In fact, I will hold it up for the
Starlings.
camera here. Yes, and so what these are, it's a little. It works in conjunction with a smartphone or a tablet. Looks like this. Hold it up.
Oh, they're not in the shape of birds.
No.
I
This
was
is
thinking
a little
they were going to be in the shape of
charging
birds.
station.
They're in the shape of stars, huh?
And so this star just pops right out of here, and it just showed me that it was charged. Sits right on there. And then when it's ready to go, you put it back into this orange clip. You clip it on your child. That also is detachable, so you can clean underneath it if it's going to be clipped onto your child. And it will count the spaces between words spoken throughout the day. And so what this does, it does not record you or collect your data in any way, but it works with any language. It gives real-time feedback on the child's verbal engagements, and patrons will also get daily engagement tips from child development experts that encourage talking. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the body of literature supporting the importance of speaking to infants and toddlers as a vital component of their brain and language development process, which of course helps the literacy mission. We'll introduce the device during our story times, and we'll follow that up with circulating kits that will include the Starling, books and instructional brochures on language and child development. And we will be having a presentation on the Starlings to promote the device on January 24th at 6 p.m. in the community room at the library. I'm pretty excited. I also put out a call to other libraries in Western Mass and asked them to send staff if they were interested, because a couple of libraries in the eastern part of the state are circulating these, but we'll be the first in the western part of the state.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes, we're hoping for a high degree of interest. And so that was one of my concerns was, is it recording you? And they're not recording you in any way. They're just measuring the spaces between words.
How many,
We have 4.
4.
Really? That's terrific.
Yes.
So it's going to be first come, first served, I assume, and folks, our patrons will be able to check these out and use them with their infants, I suppose,
Right.
or youngsters. And the times that they'll be able to have them checked out will be determined, or
Probably a 2-week limit.
2-week limit, yeah, and that's pretty good. And you mentioned story time. We do have a younger group that comes with the caregivers for story time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you and what are the age limits? The ages typically for that group? I assume that would be appropriate for this group.
Yeah, that would be, we have a couple of different age separated groups, if you will. There's the birth to 18 months.
Birth to 18 months, yeah.
This device can help from birth to about aged 4.
Oh, terrific.
Oh.
Yeah. So with your infant, it encourages you to talk often to them. With the baby, I'm reading, of course, right from the side here, but you can use activities from the Starling app to keep you talking. With your toddler, the Starling will count what your toddler is saying and give you data on your conversations. And with preschool, kindergarten, of course, is just around the corner, and so you can continue with the verbal engagement.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, that's really consistent with all of the work that has been going on in our library for a number of years with the early or pre-reading group, and getting them in and listening to words and interacting with their caregivers, parents or grandparents or whomever, and with our librarians has been terrific, and the children react so positively to that. It's great to have a count, and you can, I would assume you could figure out, are you speaking to your children enough, or more than yesterday, or about the same, or how are the children interacting while you're talking with them? That's a very interesting device. Keep us posted on that.
I will.
I'm sure people will be interested, and it's a valuable service and valuable opportunity. I'm sure you will have folks queuing up to give it a try.
And because they are a little bit different from what you think of as a circulating device, Miss Michelle in particular in the children's department has been demonstrating them to parents at her story times. She wore one herself for a day to see how many words she was up to. She said she got up to 10,000 words.
Wow.
That's a lot.
To really familiarize people with what it is, how can it help.
Well, terrific.
So yeah, she's been very involved in that.
So is that something like that would help with I'm not saying determine, but give you an idea if there is a delay in speech for the, like a child?
No, it doesn't look to have any sort of like prescriptive or
Okay.
diagnostic.
Yeah.
For example, they're not going to tell you didn't speak enough today as a reminder on your smartphone, or it's not going to be
Yeah.
telling you you're not doing
Okay.
enough. It's more so you can keep track yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be interesting, but it doesn't diagnose or prescribe
No.
anything. Yeah.
Basically gives people
An idea of
a
how much.
feedback, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
feedback on how many
words per day.
verbal encounters there are, or words used and that kind of stuff. That's terrific.
And you'll be able to take it out for a whole week?
Yes.
Or, well,
Mhm.
that's good.
Yep.
That's good. It's a great idea.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
thank you.
excited.
That's
Thank you.
nice. Ms. Starling, huh? Very good.
The library will host East Long Meadow High School's UNICEF Club book discussion on January 31st at 6 p.m. I'm pretty excited. The UNICEF Club reached out to us and asked us if we wanted to partner with them. The club is an official affiliate of UNICEF and works on behalf of them to organize, educate, and fundraise for children around the world. The UNICEF Club's current focus is on human trafficking. Students will read I Am Najood, age 10 and divorced, by Najood Ali. The students selected this material on their own. Ms. Ali achieved international fame when she fled an abusive arranged marriage and was able to obtain a divorce with the help of legal activists. Ms. Ali's book discusses the serious topic of child marriage and the impact it has on victims of trafficking. The UNICEF Club will hold a night of discussion and information at the library, which will be open to the public. And I would also like to point out we do have copies of the book available at the circulation desk for any member of the public who might be interested in checking out a book and joining them. And that'll be January 31st at 6 p.m. And just the final note is that we did receive the first half of our payment for the state aid to public libraries, and the updated information for that account is included in your financial report. Always exciting.
Every little bit helps, as they
Yes.
say. Now, I noticed that the grant is, for the year, the state aid to our library is $30,945.47, and we're going to get to that as you share us the information copy of the financial report. And we received the first half, $15,327.80. So it's not exactly half yet.
Well, this amount, no, and they do that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
This amount is what we currently have in that account. So that includes
Oh, I
any
see.
rollover from last year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a timing problem, but for purposes, it's not material.
Sure.
It's about half we've got.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, and the state will, the reason they hold half is because you never know, you never want to promise funding that revenue that has not.
We're not going out of business, but I understand.
Revenue that has not yet been collected,
Yep.
so,
That's
but we
exactly
will then
right.
receive the second half later in the fiscal year. You're familiar, I don't have to tell.
Thank you. That's,
Any of you.
that's good. It's good to get back a pittance of what we send to the state every year. I'm sorry. Anything else? Any other questions, comments about the director's report?
Not so much a question about the report, but I'm asking you, I know that there was study night. Wasn't there a study night? Would you share that
Sure.
with us?
On Sunday, we had our second annual now teen study night here at the library. Library staff volunteered to come in and have a session just for high schoolers so that they can work together in small groups and study. And we, courtesy of the Friends, we provided snacks and bottled water. We had about 50 students show up, which is fantastic for the night before a holiday. Of course, it was the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday the next day. And it was fantastic. We're hoping to continue with the program.
Very, I know it was very well received the first time. Was the level of enthusiasm the same this time?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Well, good. hope they did well in their exam, or they're going to do well in their exams, right?
Unfortunately, one exam was not held
Is
today.
that right? Snowed out, huh? Yeah. Well, I know there was a snow day for the schools in East Long Meadow today, but for the record, the public library in East Long Meadow, as was the town hall, remained open, serving our patrons' needs. So that's a good thing. Okay, any other comments, questions?
I don't know if anybody had any questions. We're, I think,
Maybe you
right
could-
on track with where we should be at this point in the
I was
fiscal year.
just going to say, this informational copy of the financial report, are there any surprises, Leila, from your perspective?
No, I think we're in good shape.
Good. Do I hear a motion to accept the director's report dated January 17th, 2018 as submitted?
I'll make a motion to accept the director's report.
Any second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion moved and seconded. Any additional comments? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Done. Next issue, next order of business anyway, is new business. I do not have any new business. Does anyone else have any new business to come before this meeting? Okay, that takes care of new business. Well on our way to what could be a new record, Diane. I don't. Old business.
6:19.
Yeah, I know. Coffee is brewing. Moving right on to the next order of business, which is in fact old business. And we do have two items under old business, both of which we have spent quite a bit of time on, and I believe we're ready to take action. The first is review of the book award guidelines, and this is the book award which we as trustees have for the past number of years, probably, gosh, it's been probably, it doesn't seem possible, like 5 years now or so, that we've sponsored the Board of Library Trustees Book Award, which is presented to the member of the junior class of East Long Meadow High School, who's demonstrated significant interest in libraries and support for the East Long Meadow Public Library. And we have had some wonderful recipients in the past, and I know Leila works with her co-chair of the committee, who's the principal of the high school, and there's input from both the library staff and from the high school staff, and we have identified some terrific young people who have been recipients of this award. For purposes of clarification, since the ground rules and our provisions of how we have been operating this rule have been in place for a while, it was suggested we look at it, and we have, and I think the edits have been well done. I had only two comments, and I won't reread the whole policy, but I would just ask a couple of. I just have a couple of thoughts about perhaps minor edits, simply for clarity. If I can find my cheat sheets, which I have right here, and right here, right in front of me, right in front of you. They're hiding it on me. Under the award, what the award is, and basically we award a book that's appropriate for presentation to the individual selected, an award certificate which Leila has, which is very nice, and Leila has prepared, and a modest monetary gift provided by voluntary contributions by us as trustees. No, we do not spend any budget money from the library for the gift that we provide to the individual. So the wording that I would suggest as a possibility is, and it only makes it a little concise, more concise. A modest monetary gift provided voluntarily by the individual trustees who wish to make a personal contribution to the award per recipient, we can leave that in.
Okay.
And I think that doesn't change any of the meaning or the intent or how we proceed. It simply makes that that sentence a little
Less.
tighter.
Yeah.
And then at the very beginning, the approval and the final approval of the award shall be made by the selection committee and conveyed to the chairman of the East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees. The selection committee, as I say, Layla and Ms. Flanagan, right? Flanagan, from the high school are the chairs, but I believe that there have been designated, and I believe that there are designated people who serve on the committee who are called in to help with the recommendation. Final approval shall be made by the selection committee and conveyed to the chairman of the East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees. Their decision will be final. I don't know that we need their decision will be final. The truth of the matter is, as we've operated, their decision has been final. We have not at any time modified the recommendation of the committee.
Right.
I don't know that we need that. Their decision will be final. It's just known and assumed that who is recommended by the committee, it's our intent that they be given the award. We simply sponsor the award and encourage the selection, and the committee works its magic, and we do not have people coming before us to qualify, nor do we look at any resumes or anything like that.
Yep.
So there's no reason for us to stand back and approve. And so I think this is a good improvement, but I also don't think we need to say that the decision of the committee is final, when in fact it is final.
It is.
Okay?
And the only reason because they.
I understand. Well,
So I didn't wanna-
The original thought 5 or
Yeah.
6 years ago, and it's been a while, the original thought was, as the appointing authority, the Board of Trustees could make the final decision. But truthfully, we've designated that to Layla and
Yeah.
her committee.
Yeah.
We've done that. That's why we have the committee. So I don't know that we need that word. It's just more verbiage. If that's all right with you, you can have this.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Yeah,
So,
I like that.
does anyone else have any thoughts or comments?
I
It's
just,
pretty tight right now, I
yeah,
think.
I just had something that occurred to me
Okay. Fire away.
after. You know what? It's just changing the word chairman to chairperson.
Or chair, sure.
Okay,
Yeah, just strike the word man. Get current.
get with the times.
Yep. And change it throughout,
Yep,
wherever it shows up.
yep.
And I think there's 3 or 4 places, but
I'll take care of that.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
That's what I would call a opportunity to edit.
Yeah.
Make it
Okay,
better.
so
I think that's very tight. Thank you for your work on that, Diane, as
You're
always.
welcome.
And it's better than it was 5 years ago. That's the objective.
right.
And if we identify the young people to receive this year's award, and if they're as good as we've had in the past, and I'm sure there will be, we'll have another chance to see and recognize some outstanding students from East Long Meadow
Yeah.
in the junior class. I'm sure, Layla, you've already got your eyes and ears open, so
Oh, yes.
keep up the good work. The problem is not identifying one, it's the problem is, or identifying people who are qualified. The problem is selecting one, which is, God bless you, I'm glad that you're making a decision. I couldn't do it. Okay, so I guess I'd like a motion to accept the wording in the revision for the policy and procedures surrounding the East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees Book Award.
Okay, I'd like to make that motion
Okay?
to accept the
We have
trustees book award
a second?
as
I'd
read.
like to second that.
Okay, moved and seconded, and any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Could you do one last thing? Could you put a date on the bottom right-hand side?
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else, Layla? We're all set, Layla?
No, yeah.
Moving right along? How's am I doing on time? Pretty good, yeah. I know. We gotta get out before it freezes too badly. Social media policy, here's another, gee whiz, this is a day for getting things done and completed. I'm very pleased about the social media policy. This has been a draft that we've been working on for a number of meetings, and I really like the final version, or the version we're going to look at tonight.
Okay.
If my assumptions are correct, I think we're ready to move on it. I know, Leila, in your last report you indicated, and we may not be ready to move on it, but we are at the mercy of the administrative state anyway. The town attorney was given a copy of the social media policy draft to review.
He was.
And my question of you is, has he reviewed it? Has he finished his review yet?
Not at this time.
Aha! This is very good. Very close. And when he gets back to us with the okay, I think we're ready to go on it. Okay?
Do you want to wait for him?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay.
Yeah.
You agree, Melanie?
I
Yes.
think we should wait.
Diane, you
in
agree?
case he
Yes.
does
Sure.
have changes and-
Okay.
I like what I see here.
Okay.
This seems to me to be really where we want, subject to the final approval, obviously. This is where we want to be, so keep it on the agenda. Thank you very much.
Okay.
If you get a chance to talk to our good town attorney,
I will check in
tell
with
him,
the town
tell him we're
manager.
waiting with bated breath.
I'll check in with the town manager. Yeah.
And I hope you raise those issues that we raised in discussion
Certainly.
the last time, because they are important. And this is, but this as it stands, I think is a good document. That being said, we're moving right along. The next, I believe, unless someone else has any other old business, is there any old business to come before the meeting? Okay, then we move on to other business. And this is my favorite part of the meeting. Well, I always like to listen to Melanie Manheim talk.
Of course.
And she
We'll
has
take up much of your time.
she has some library friends news for us under other business.
Okay, so I'd like to pass around the East Long Meadow Public Library brick
Oh, what is
campaign
that you have in your hand there?
We are
That's a brick,
Could
too.
you describe
currently
that?
reviving. We are reviving. So we do have, the Friends
This
have
is
a pamphlet here.
Could I
with
explain what
information.
this is? It's very heavy, I know. And it looks like a regular, ordinary building or paving brick. David, as a
Yeah.
contractor, you can
Yeah.
attest to the veracity of that statement. However, this brick is a special brick, because this brick is an East Long Meadow Public Library campaign brick. You can look it up under www.bricksareus.com. I guess they're the people, that's where you get the bricks.
Yes.
But this, I'll let you talk about it, but this is what this is what you're talking about now. I'm not gonna drop it because we'll break our beautiful library
Yes,
table.
don't drop it.
But I will pass it to David,
Okay.
So the
and
pamphlet.
with caution. So
the
what is
pamphlet-
this brick all about anyway?
Basically reads paving the path to literacy one brick at a time. So you can order one of these bricks for $75, and you can have it in memory of someone's name, or in memory of a teacher or a loved one. And you can order an engraved brick for the East Long Meadow Public Library literacy path. And the bricks they go in the literacy path on this side of the building behind us here. And you can choose.
That would be the side entrance, not the front entrance.
Yes, the side entrance.
And if anybody wants to see how they look, they just look down at their feet while they're trying to dodge the ice and
Yes.
snow,
Yes.
and they'll see these beautiful personalized bricks, right?
So your brick will not only become permanent part of the literacy path, but will also help the Friends to provide programming, events, and materials benefiting the library and its patrons. So you can choose capital letters or lowercase letters, however you want, 1 or 2 lines to read, and the $75 check will be made out to the Friends. And then you can bring that check to the front desk, and the Friends of the library will take care of that for you, and we'll have it engraved. I think we're doing probably about 2 or 3 bricks at a time. So when we have the orders come in, and then they get shipped here, and then we're good to go to have them installed at the literacy brick path. So I think that's a good idea, and we're I believe Tony's
Yes.
Ranskowski, she's taking care of all that. So that's nice that we're reestablishing
Tony
that
is a
again
member
and
of the Friends.
reviving it.
Yes.
Tony is a member of the Friends group, and
Yeah.
she's been very active in this.
Oh, yeah.
We certainly
So I
appreciate
can
her
pass this around for everybody to take a look at.
enthusiastic support and involvement. Now, I noticed you were reading from a pamphlet. In fact, I now have the pamphlet in front of me. And this pamphlet describes at some length, more length than you just covered, the program and what it is and how you can get the bricks and how you can order the bricks. You do not have to put the bricks in. Tony and her committee, I assume, will arrange to have the bricks put in the pathway. And it really is a terrific way to memorialize or to recognize a person or persons that are meaningful to you. This pamphlet is available at the central circulation desk, and just come in and ask for it, or come in and drop your check off, made payable to the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library. And everything else will be taken care of, and the only thing you'll have to do in the future is come down occasionally when you're getting out your books or materials and admire your brick.
Very good. Okay,
Fair enough?
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So the next topic I'd like to discuss is about the Scouts speech when I went to speak.
Yeah,
at
how'd
the-
that go?
the Cub Scouts
You spoke
slash-
to the
they're
Cub
gonna be
Scouts, didn't you?
Crossing over soon. So my speech was only supposed to be about 10 to 15 minutes. I took about 25 to 30 minutes of their time. So that was very interesting. It went by fast. The Scouts were very attentive, and they were listening to what I was talking about. So I was teaching them about being prepared and the Friends meetings and the Library Board of Trustees meetings. So it was very interesting. I asked the children what was the best part of the library, and they had 4 different points of interest that they thought. The first one was that there were lots of books on one particular topic. So I'm only talking about the children's room, not the adult section or anywhere else, because they kind of just pertain to that portion of the library. So they were also, the children's department staff is nice. That was their second point. Point number 3, they like the launch pads. I did have a launch pad.
The launch pads?
launch pads,
You
the
brought
orange.
those are the,
I did bring
computer-
one in so that they could all see.
oh, that's
Half
terrific.
of them knew what it was. The other half did not know what it was. So they thought it was really cool. So I kind of let them all hold it, and they weren't allowed to play with it because they had to listen.
Those are the, I don't know exactly what, the mini computers, I guess, that are
yeah,
Yes.
they're
available
free.
at our, we have available for checkout here at our library.
And their fourth point was a place to go and see their friends. So I think at that level, on that age group, they're also looking at it socially.
Yeah.
To see their friends, grab a book and talk, and I think they're establishing that networking and just seeing their friends in their classrooms, or just the schools, or just people just in general in our community. So that was good. They did brainstorm about what they wanted the library to lend out. So I was explaining to them how we have books, we have CDs, DVDs, all these different materials at the library, and they gave me 6 different points that they brainstorming now. These are just ideas that they thought we should have. Their first one, and this is in order as they were telling me, robotics kits for them to make the robots, and I guess there's like small robots that you can make. I don't know if those are Lego robotics kits or just the metal ones that you can put together. I'm sure there's a variety of different ones. So that was their first point. Their second point was electronic kits, how you put one wire to one little area and another wire, and then it will make different noises and sounds. Their third point were Lego kits. They were talking about lending out tools, maybe to kids who were older, maybe not a 4th grader should not probably have hammers or saws. So they were talking about tools. They were talking about lending out tents.
Mhm.
Of course, this is the Scouts, that
Right.
group
Yeah.
of kids
Right.
that we're talking to. So don't worry, I'm not going to say switchblades. We're good. We're good. Okay, so they were asking about tents, and they were also asking about birthday parties. That was the sixth topic that they were kind of just throwing out there.
Meaning they wanted to have a party at the library?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like a kid's birthday party. Maybe like a 2-hour quick cake and pizza or whatever. But one kid threw that out. So that was interesting.
Mhm.
I would have never thought about that. And one of the parents who was listening in, they suggested that we have some type of a kids' night out at the library where parents can do like Christmas shopping around the holidays or what have you, and have the parents drop off the kid here and charge the family so much money. I don't know how that would work. That would be something we would definitely have to talk about. So that was one of the topics. So the Scout speech did go very well. Kids were very engaged. You could hear a pin drop, so that they were listening. So it was nice.
Good.
It was a good one.
Well, it sounds like it was a successful meeting. How old are these children?
There were, I think, maybe 8 years old till maybe 11.
8 to 11?
8 to 11, around that.
A lot of energy.
So yes, yes. But they were listening, so I was very surprised. The attention span was there, and they had a lot to say.
That's great.
It was wonderful.
Now, when you were invited, the first approach that was made, as I'm remembering, was that the leaders thought it would be great that you, as a member of the town, government or
A community leader.
community,
That was one of their
as a
values.
representative certainly of the library to the community and of the community to the library, could talk about that part of it. So it sounds like you did that, and that you also leveraged it to advertise our library to these young people. Pretty good. It sounded like they're very enthusiastic.
It was
That's
good.
great. Tell them to come in. Come in often.
I think they already do.
I do. It sounds like
it.
I
Sounds
think
like
they
it.
do
That's
already.
right. Well, that's terrific. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It
I'm
was
thrilled.
nice
That's
to
a
see.
wonderful effort for outreach, and I know I really like seeing the outreach to the schools. As you all know, that's been something I've been terrifically pleased with, and I think we're doing a very good job of that. In fact, Layla, I was pleased to see that the outreach to the UNICEF Club and everything that entails. Obviously, it's your program is tied into the kinds of things that we do all the time as a library. That's good, and any connection we have to the schools is part of our, in my view, our mission, and that's great. So
Good.
keep it up. Ask
Wonderful.
if you can be invited back. You got any Girl Scouts? Or you got?
I'm working on that.
Okay, good.
The idea just got to me.
In some parts of the country, the Boy Scout, the Cub Scouts are ahead of the game. In some parts of the country, libraries do loan out tools, and I'm talking power tools. They loan out all sorts of gardening tools and power tools and stuff that you could historically you could never even imagine a library would do. And if the need and desire and wish is there, if patrons propose and there's enough interest and we can figure out how to fund it, I'm sure that we could consider that kind of thing in the future. I know that we had a experimental program as regards to games. Last year was the first time I think we've offered games to be available. And that was, I believe, well received. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it again this year, but it certainly was that kind of an initiative, and I think that's great, and I commend the Cub Scouts for their interest and futuristic thought, huh?
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe they could build a new addition to our library too. What else you got? You got something else in front of you.
There's a lot of points I have.
Oh, keep
I'll
going
be
then.
speaking a lot
Keep
today.
going. Oh,
So as you know, the holiday fundraising event here in the lobby took place with the baskets. The drawing took place on December 20th. There were 17 baskets that were displayed here in the lobby, and one of the baskets was, I'll give you an example, a Friends membership basket. So the Friends of the Library is trying something new. Last year and this year, we're giving away one free membership to the Friends, and in this basket includes one tote bag, one gift certificate for 1 free year of the membership of the
Wow.
Friends, a packaged up of 3 note cards, a package of 3 library postcards, note cards, and 1 of the ornaments. So included in this basket, they get that and some information of the Friends. So I think this is a good way for PR for the Friends if somebody wants to win. We've already given out a couple of these, and it's going good. And it's I think it's a great idea. It's something we've never tried before, just to see how people like it. And I think maybe in another couple of months I'll call the people who win these baskets just to see what their thoughts are. Just to get some sort of feedback to see how that goes. They are beautifully packaged. They're always out there, and you know, if it's well received, maybe we'll put out 2 per holiday drawing. We'll see how that goes. What the Friends think about that. And Meadowbrook School, the elementary school in here in town, they're having a family PTO bingo night fundraiser. And they're having a bunch of baskets there. So I asked them if they'd like a basket, and they definitely wanted one, so I made one up for them too. So that is also going to happen at the elementary school. And another one is the the indoor mini golf that we're going to have here. I believe it's on March 17th. I think it's on a Saturday.
Yes.
So that's going to happen soon. It's on March 17th from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. The cost is $3 per golfer, with a $10 maximum for a family. And anybody who would like to contribute to the basket can do so, and have that done by March 1st. Another topic I'd like to bring up is the chocolate sampling here at the library, which the Friends of the Library sponsor. That's going to happen on Saturday, February 10th. That is from 1 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so you can sample all sorts of chocolates. I know Diane and I always make something for that. So that's always a wonderful event. That is free to all Friends members, and to who pay dues, and it's $2 to all non-Friends members. And last but not least, the Friends, they are working on a website to have us kind of differentiate us from the library, but also be connected to. I know Diane's been working on that as well. And I think it's good if we were to have the Friends were to have their own website. I think that's a great idea. But also, if you go onto the library's website, you can also click on the Friends to have that be navigated through that as well. So yeah, I think the Friends is moving along in a positive direction for the library, and of course, just like us being advocates. And I think it's wonderful.
well, you're doing a
It's
great job. Thank you very much.
A lot of information today. A lot to ponder.
Doesn't seem like a lot. I'm pleased that you've been busy, but I wish you were more busy. How's that sound? Just one comment about the website. I think that's great, and that's certainly something that will be well received. I know that the Friends newsletter has historically had a portion of it dedicated to update from the library director, and I would encourage you not to let that be diminished, because I think that that's important, that there be that presence from the library director in the Friends as a part of the Friends communications.
I don't think that I believe the newsletter will remain the same.
Good.
The the catch, and that's something that we'll be looking into, is maybe they'll have a webpage that might be past newsletters and so forth. So if people want to see,
Sure.
you know,
Oh, that's
so but the newsletters, nothing's going to change as far as the format's concerned.
Good.
It's a Friends newsletter, and anybody who has a
I think
item.
that's terrific. I think that's great. Thank you. Let us know when it goes when it comes online.
When it goes live.
When it goes live, that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell how high tech I am. I do
It's
know
good to
that there
keep
are a
up
lot of
with the
people.
times.
There are a lot of our patrons who appreciate, a lot of our friends members who appreciate getting the newsletter. And they don't necessarily log on to a computer routinely like
Right.
so many of us do. So they get it in the mail and they take it out and they read it. And that's maybe the only communication they get from the library, our quasi-library organization. So it's very important. That's a tremendous communication vehicle. And it has been for years, back when you were the editor. You may still be the editor. Is Laura still working on that?
Laura.
Laura Palmer? I
Yeah,
don't-
yeah,
yeah.
and
Well, you guys
President.
got your fingers on everything, I know, in everything, I know. That's good, that's a good thing. Anything else, Melanie? That's all?
Nothing.
Good gracious.
Oh, that was a lot.
Well, you've been a busy bear, that's terrific, thank you. Is there any other business to come before our meeting? Yes, of course.
I did email everybody, but I just would again like to put in a little reminder that there is the annual legislative breakfast
Yes, thank you.
in Chicopee. It's going to be at the Chicopee Comprehensive High School. They're trying a different approach this year.
Well, at the high school, I misread that. I
Yep.
read the Chicopee Library.
No, at the high school in the high school library.
Oh, I'm glad
And
you
they're
mentioned
calling
that.
it the Greater Springfield Legislative Breakfast. It's going to have Senators Welch, Lesser, and who am I forgetting? There's
Ash,
a third.
is Ash there? No.
No, there's a third person who I
I
apologize.
read
my-
it, I forgot too.
But, huh?
Pupolo,
Yes,
oh,
yes,
good guy.
thank you.
Yeah.
And so that'll be from 8:30 to 10:30 in the high school library on February 2nd. Trying a different approach with having a bigger, calling it Greater Springfield rather than just doing one individual little one. So, see how it goes.
Good. Well, if we can make it, we will. If not, tell us how it goes. I saw you were one of the sponsors.
No, I'm not.
Well, it said they used your name, or they used, sponsored by the East Long Meadow Public Library, so that's you. You were one of the listed people who were being invited, I suppose.
Yes.
Maybe that's it.
Yes.
So you didn't plan the program.
Oh no, that hard
How-
work is all being done by the high school librarian.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, so.
It is a lot of work, I know that. Well, that's good. Okay, any other business to come before? Do you have anything else, Lila? No?
No, that was all.
Terrific. Any other business? No other business? Our next meeting is set for Wednesday, February 21st, 2018 at 6 p.m. in the Trustees Conference Room, right where we are today. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
All right.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.